I want to welcome you to day 4 of our 4-part series about all things flying. And today we are going to talk about all of the little details that you need to check to make sure that everything runs smoothly and you don't miss your flight. Let's go. Okay, so as I said, today we are going to be talking about all of the little details that kind of wrap up everything we've been talking about for the last 4 days and cover all of the little details you need to just triple check to make sure everything runs smoothly. So my name is Linda Jones. I am the author of Travel Agent Secrets and the CEO of Crafted Travel Company. And I have a passion for teaching you what I know as a professional so that you can have the best vacations possible, because as we know, vacations and travel in general are extremely important, and I want to make sure it's accessible and everybody has the best trip that they can. So let's go ahead and dive in. So tip number 1 has to do with checking the hidden fees. So as we know nowadays, it seems like you get nickeled and dimed for everything on an airplane. You know, your food, your luggage, heck, even being able to have an assigned seat, which we talked about on day 1 and day 2. Everything is nickel and dime. So one of the things you want to do before you actually book your flight is to check all of those details. Know how much it's going to charge for baggage, know whether or not you're going to have to buy food, know whether or not you're going to have to pay in order to have an assigned seat, and any other small little detail that they might have. You'll want to know all of that before you book so that there are no surprises once you are ready to pay for your trip, or worse, when you're on your trip and you're expecting it to go one way and it goes the complete other way. Also, sometimes with those extra fees that they add, even though they might be the lowest price of a ticket, if you add all the baggage fees and things, it ends up being the same price as if you bought it on a different airline or a little bit more upgraded airline. So sometimes they don't balance out correctly. So you really, really want to pay careful attention to all of the hidden fees before you press buy and go that way. Now, if you've already bought something, a lot of airlines nowadays, in fact, I want to say all of them, you can cancel within 24 hours and get a complete refund. If you're watching this during coronavirus, a lot of them are offering no change fees, no cancellation fees, because they want to keep your business and they don't want to lose you because you aren't traveling because of coronavirus. But going forward, it usually is like a 24-hour time period where you can cancel without any penalties. So if you've already bought a ticket and you find some fees that you're not happy with, it's not too late. If it's within the 24 hours, it's not too late to cancel. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, and again, before you press buy on your tickets, is check your connection time. So if you have a layover anywhere at all, well, I don't care how many layovers, if there's a layover, I want you to check your connection times. This is particularly important if you're coming from the US or from another country and stopping in a foreign country, because you're going to have to go through customs in that first country, in that foreign country. And you would want to make sure that you have enough time to get through customs, to get to your next gate and make it to your flight on time. This is particularly important when you're at a giant airport, which, for instance, Heathrow in London is huge and it takes forever to get on one end or the other. The same thing holds true domestically. If you were in one of the main hubs, I'm thinking Atlanta, Dallas, Orlando, Chicago, a lot of those really giant, Denver, for instance, huge airports where it takes forever to get from, say, this gate to this gate, you definitely want to make sure you've built in enough time, because it's not just a matter of whether you can physically travel from this gate to this gate, it's also whether or not the airplane is going to be on time in the first place. If that airplane is delayed and you only have a 30-minute window or an hour window, you could miss your next flight and they're not going to hold the seats for you, or they're not going to hold the door for you. So always check your connection times. My rule of thumb, if you're traveling domestically, I would say 2 hours, at least a minimum of a layover time. If you're at one of those bigger airports, you might want to pad that a little bit just to be extra careful that it's, you know, you're going to have time to get to your next flight. If you're flying internationally, I would bump that way up. I would go maybe 4 to 6 hours, if not more, depending on, you know, what kind of airport it is, if it's one of the giant airports and what their customs situations are. A lot of times what you can do is check with the airport directly and they will let you know kind of what their estimated time frames are. A lot of times they'll let you know which airlines are running behind schedule, ahead of schedule, and that's something that can help you gauge how much time you need. But don't gamble with too little time, because if you miss that flight, it is going to be much more of a nightmare to try to figure out how to get a new flight than it would have been just to create more time in the first place. Tip number 3, and our final tip of today, is actually back on video 1. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to go ahead and connect that up there. Something is crawling on my back. If you watch that video, one of the things that I mentioned is that the type of airplane matters. So whether it's a Boeing 757 or 777 or an Airbus or whatever it is, that matters when you are picking your flights. And the reason it matters is the seat configuration, whether or not you're going to have power or plug-ins in your seat, whether or not you're going to have Wi-Fi, how much legroom you're going to have. So if you're choosing between 2 flights and you can't quite decide which one is going to work best for you, it's best to go to a little website that I like to use, which I actually is an app on my phone called Seat Guru. It's made by TripAdvisor. And what it is you actually look it up by your, in fact, you know what? I'm going to bring it up here so you can take a look. But you log in, actually you don't even log in. So what you do is you go on and you pick your airline, you pick the flight number if you happen to have it, or the day that you're traveling and the time that you're traveling. And what it does is it pulls up pictures, first of all, the seat map of how the plane is configured, but also pictures from people who've traveled on it to let you know what first class looks like, what economy looks like, what basic economy looks like. So it can help you decide, if you're just trying to decide between 2 flights and they're 2 different kinds of planes, which one's going to work for your needs. It also tells you what kind of amenities each one has, and one might just be better than the other one and have more to offer than the other one, or look cleaner or be newer. Those are things that matter. So be sure to check Seat Guru for that. Okay, so I want to just thank you so much for being here through hopefully all 4 of our episodes on all things flight. We went everything from where to book, how to get the most out of your flights, improved amenities, upgrades, how to get the best deals, how to save a ton of money, and all of the little details that you need to look at just to kind of wrap it all up. I hope you enjoyed our series. Coming in future series, we're going to be having various travel inspiration videos, travel review videos, and a whole lot more how to plan your trip and how to make the most out of your vacation. So if you found this helpful, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And other than that, I hope to see you on the next video, and I hope you have a really fantastic day and happy travels. Bye-bye.